One of Siobhan's relatives stole $250,000 worth of marijuana from Darius Fields, and Siobhan's kidnapping was retaliation.
You know, I got the whole Versace collection in my house. I ain't had the pillowcases. My friend here, she helped me get the pillowcases. So I get to go on and finish up my stuff at home. I got everything else. I've been mad I ain't had no pillowcases on my bed like no more. Thank you, baby. Again, I appreciate you a lot. Yeah, all the way to the D. From the H, man. 45. Check, man. Kill County on fucking my nigga King there. 214-713, man. It's going down. You know what it is. All right. For real, it is joint. Nigga come from the penitentiary, come from nothing, nigga. We from the whip, my nigga. Ain't nobody gave us shit, nigga. Man, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gave us nothing, man. We gotta have the blood, man. Goddamn me, man, say, man. We thankful, my nigga. You hear me? We thankful come from our situation. Y'all counted us out. We was the bad guys.
And payback in Lancaster. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ken Molestina. Doug is off tonight.
And I'm Kaylee O'Kelly. Court documents detail the chilling string of crimes leading to the kidnapping of 13-year-old Siobhan Randall, including how detectives tracked down the abandoned home where the body of her and another victim were found. Our Dan Haggerty outside the Lancaster Police Department to explain more about this case.
These are the documents from multiple agencies here, Irving, Dallas County, the FBI. They explain this string of drug crimes and how a 13-year-old girl got caught in the middle of it all.
The fate of 13-year-old Siobhan Randall may have been set at this Motel 6 in Lancaster. Nearly a week before they found her body in an abandoned Oak Cliff home. Last Monday, Kendall Perkins told police he and 3 other guys robbed LaPortia Polly in room 116 and stole at least 22 pounds of marijuana. The pot allegedly belonged to Polly, Darius Fields, his cousin Devontae Owens, and Laquan Wilkerson, known in that circle as Owens's bodyguard. An arrest warrant for Owens says he went looking for the drugs and with Wilkerson's help, kidnapped Siobhan. Then called the girl's cousin using her phone and said, "Give us the drugs back or we're going to kill her." That cousin is Perkins's girlfriend and the young girl's only connection to any of this. The documents show police used FBI informants and cell phone records to connect the dots, arresting Owens and Wilkerson for kidnapping on the 28th and Polly and Fields on drug and firearm charges at an Irving motel the next day. But none of them led police here. It was a 6th person of interest, Desmond Jones, unknown to the media until today. The warrant says he told police, "Let's take a drive." Then Jones began to shake when they drove toward the house, saying, "R.I.P. to her and Mike T." Inside, detectives found Siobhan's body and Michael Titus, another suspect in the case.
And the documents here do not detail Michael Titus's exact involvement, how deep it goes, and all of the things you just heard about. They do refer to him as a suspect at one point, though. We're hoping to learn more when officers release the search warrant from the home where the victims were found.
Dallas investigators revealed in court they knew the names of those who may have been involved in the 2017 kidnapping of a 13-year-old girl within 24 hours of her disappearance. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. First at 5:30, Darius Fields is on trial for organized criminal activity linked to the kidnapping and murder of Siobhan Randall. 3 others were arrested and charged in relation to the crime, but no one has been charged with Randall's murder. Fox 4's Lynn Ann Wynn in court. She joins us live from the Frank Crowley Courthouse with a recap of today's developments. Lynn Ann.
Clarice, the majority of today's testimony came from an FBI agent on the case who described the race against time as they tried to find Siobhan Randall alive. Tuesday morning, FBI Special Agent Jennifer Mulliken walked the jury through the timeline of the investigation in June of 2017. Mulliken says very early on, investigators already knew the circumstances surrounding this kidnapping were different.
Our office had received information that this was a possibly drug-related kidnapping. We realized it was a stranger abduction, and it wasn't going to be something that was going to be resolved relatively quick.
Very quickly, agents set up a 1-800 number for tips, and hundreds poured in. They developed several persons of interest by the morning after Siobhan Randall was kidnapped.
Darius Fields had been identified. Michael Titus had been identified. Kendall Perkins had been identified. And I believe Laquan Wilkerson had been identified by that point.
Jurors also saw video of Fields and others meeting up. Prosecutors say they were planning Siobhan's abduction.
Who do we have? We believe that's Darius Fields.
Investigators also went through data on Fields' cell phone and social media, which shows him discussing drug deals, flashing cash and guns, and threatening violence. There were also photos of Kendall Perkins with his girlfriend and children on Fields' phone. 4 days after the kidnapping, an associate of Fields led investigators to the abandoned house where Siobhan's body was found, along with the body of Michael Titus. Mulliken says by that point, it appeared Siobhan had been dead for some time.
Up until that point, were all of law enforcement still actively trying to locate Siobhan, hopefully alive?
Yes, ma'am.
And coming up, jurors are also expected to hear from an FBI cell phone data analyst as well as the FBI agent who processed evidence at the scene where Siobhan was found.
Yeah, we back. It's your boy Populi. Mob. We headed to Texas with it. Dallas to be exact. The notorious Oak Cliff area to be more exact. Be careful. They smoking shit around here. Today we are going to be covering a guy by the name of Darius Fields or King Darius. But this story involves a cast of characters, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain how a robbery at a Motel 6 would end in a double murder with one victim being a 13-year-old girl. So I'm going to start with an Amber Alert that was issued on June 28, 2017, where they were trying to locate Siobhan LaFaye Randall from Lancaster, Texas, and the vehicle of suspect was a white 4-door sedan with damage on the rear passenger side panel. Fast forward 4 days later, and police would discover Siobhan Randall along with an adult male, Michael Titus, in what the media described as a drug house and what we know as a trap house, stash house situation. Now, let's go down the series of events that led to this. According to court documents, the robbery that occurred at the Motel 6 was carried out by a guy by the name of Kendall K.P. Perkins. Now, in this scenario, they're going to say that Darius Fields' girlfriend, who was a female by the name of LaPortia Polly, was at the hotel and Kendall Perkins stole the drugs from her, which would lead to the kidnapping of Siobhan Randall because she was the cousin of Kendall Perkins' girlfriend. Now, in court, it came out that the intended target of that kidnapping was Kendall Perkins' girlfriend. When she wasn't at the residence, when the older cousin wasn't at the residence, two gentlemen proceeded to kidnap the 8th grade student, throwing a pillowcase over her head and throwing her into the car. It wouldn't be long before Kendall Perkins' girlfriend and Siobhan Randall's older cousin would get a call saying that they needed to return the marijuana or they would kill Siobhan. I'm not quite sure if she didn't take the situation serious enough or didn't understand everything going on, but that would lead to the death of Siobhan Randall along with Michael Titus. And I seen where his involvement was he was supposed to be with LaPortia Polly guarding the marijuana when it was stolen by Kendall Perkins. So maybe it's that led to him being killed alongside Siobhan Randall. They're still trying to piece that together. And I seen some information where he was kind of associated as far as relative-wise with them as well. Now, it wouldn't be long before authorities would catch up with Darius Fields and LaPortia Polly, and they would label him the mastermind of the alleged kidnapping plot. And when they found him, he was in a hotel room and he was found with drugs as well as weapons. So that led to a federal case for him. And in that federal case, he was sentenced to 18 years. And LaPortia Polly was subsequently sentenced to 4 years. But that wouldn't be the end of the story, because the state would go on to charge 4 of the individuals, Desmond Jones and Darius Fields being 2. And I'm assuming the other 2 are going to be the 2 males that were involved with it, Devontae Owens and Laquan Wilkerson. Now, I didn't see anything where LaPortia Polly was going to be tried as far as the state case is concerned. And they didn't charge the 4 defendants in the state with murder, because based on my research, they're going to say that they assumed that Titus killed Randall and then he was killed. So they didn't really know who committed what murder. So they just charged all 4 of them with engaging in organized crime. And when I kind of look at that charge, it's almost the equivalent of like a state RICO case. And while being tried like that, Desmond Jones was sentenced to 99 years. His defense team was asking for 20, and they gave him the max sentence. So Darius Fields has that state case coming up very soon. And it's real tricky because this is Texas, this is Dallas. We all know how they play with the death penalty. Now, I'm not sure if you can get that with the engaging in organized crime charge, but I'm almost sure that they would have been looking at that had this been a murder case. Now, y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Shout out to Dallas. Y'all always show love when we come through. Y'all get in the comment box, flood that bitch down. Y'all always let me know who we need to cover, who we missed, what we didn't get right. And y'all hit the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. And y'all already know what it is with me. It's your boy Pop. Mob, mob, mob.